Global News posted a video about a landlord that is owed $60,000 in rent. And I want to give you guys my reaction to this video. My name's Daniel Hale. I'm a real estate agent that works with a ton of landlords. And I made this channel to help people become better landlords. So make sure you subscribe and stick around.
My doctor said you have so much stressful.
Stress and a heart attack that led to bypass surgery for this Brampton man who says his tenants aren't paying the rent.
I am struggling with the house because after that I need to sold one property. I cannot manage anything.
A new Nalathambi's 5 tenants leasing this Brampton home haven't paid rent in more than a year, according to Nalathambi.
So first thing I want to say, more than a year. That tells me that unfortunately, there might have been some hiccups when it came to the landlord filing the N4 notice of eviction to the tenant. Typically in Ontario, at the time of this video, hearings are about a 4 to 5 month delay. And the longest we've ever had a tenant fight an N4 notice is roughly about 8 to 9 months. So going over a year tells me that they either delayed filing or maybe they did something wrong in their paperwork that the landlord and tenant board threw it out. Now, I could be wrong, but just some advice here. When a tenant owes you rent and they stop paying, serve the N4 immediately so you don't end up in a situation where it takes 1 year to get that tenant out.
And documents filed with the Ontario Landlord and Tenant Board. How much does he say they owe him?
More than 60,000.
I'm not surprised. This is very, very common.
So the tenant owes $60,000 and that's within a 14-month period, which means the tenant's paying roughly $4,300 a month, and that's a big, big no-no as a landlord. I'll tell you why. If you take a look at the house that this tenant was renting, it is a single detached home. I'm telling you guys right now, single detached houses that are worth as much as this property likely is, probably anywhere around $1.6 to $1.8 million. These types of houses are for you to live in, not for you to rent as a landlord. I'm telling you guys right now, I get a lot of people message me from this channel with these types of common issues, and I see it time and time again, that it's always somebody with one door, one house. And the reason why I tell you not to rent is because it's only one door. Meaning, if the tenant ever stops paying you rent, you're stuck in a situation like this where you're covering all of the expenses. All of the bills go immediately to you. As a landlord, especially in Ontario, you want to go with a multi-family property. Imagine you have 4 units or 6 units, even a duplex, but let's call it a 6-unit property. For the price of this property, you can definitely get one in around Hamilton, Ontario, London, Ontario. There's lots of areas that you can get a 6-plex at a price like this house, even cheaper. So the truth is, if you have a 6-unit property, even the banks will value this as a stronger asset, because if one tenant stops paying you rent, you still have 5 other tenants that are paying you rent, which means you only need to evict that one tenant. It's a lot less stress on that, and you still have 5 other tenants paying you rent to carry the property, help you sleep at night, so you're not stressed out. I'm telling you guys, don't buy these types of properties and rent them out, because if the tenant ever stops paying you rent, you're going to be extremely stressed, because this mortgage and expenses on this type of property, I'm telling you, they're very high. So you have to carry that plus deal with the rent loss.
Even though the amount sounds completely outrageous.
It's a predicament faced by many landlords who have an investment property to rent out.
We want the law-abiding tenants who are looking for housing to be able to find housing, because what's happening is a lot of landlords are shutting down their rentals.
Anu took action with the Landlord and Tenant Board 14 months ago.
I agree with that big time. It's very difficult nowadays for good tenants to even find a place now. They have to give everything. The landlords ask for so many documents. It's like worse than crossing the border. You're getting interrogated, literally. And it's because of reasons like this. But the truth is, it's the system. The landlord and tenant board needs to be fixed. Too big of a delay.
Board 14 months ago. On paper, the 5 tenants have been ordered to leave. But as we've reported before, evicting tenants is a lengthy process. It sounds like you know the system.
Of course. Why I don't know.
Involving the sheriff, and there are backlogs. So tenants who choose to live rent-free can often do so for more than a year. In this case, Anu says tenant Jashanjeep Singh, seen here, refused him entry to a lawful inspection months ago.
Then I went.
I'm sorry, but just seeing this house again, it is way too nice to rent out. And again, I've seen it in this channel. It's not just about the rent. Even if you get paid and the tenant moves out, if they leave any damages or anything that you got to repair on a house like this, that expense is going to be extremely high. Now imagine you're stuck with both. They don't pay rent and damage it. The expenses on a property like that to get it back to where it was before, it's too much risk. Don't do it.
The house, he tell me not come to inside.
We went to the home in search of Singh or any other tenants. They didn't or wouldn't answer the door. With no gate to the backyard, we tried there too. As you can see by the weeds and other growth, the property could use some tending.
So there's another thing. The tenant denied entry multiple times and would not let them inside. So they had an N4 notice for non-payment of rent that they served, and hopefully they also served an N5 notice. If they didn't, then that's a mistake, because you want to serve the N4 and an N5 so you have two ways of evicting this tenant. The reason for that is because now you can take the one that comes first. Whatever is the quickest route, whatever one the landlord and tenant board gives you first, take it.
Those tenants still live here, according to neighbors. Anu, who says he can't work after heart surgery, says he has to come up with money to cover the mortgage. This is how he describes his tenants.
They are scammers.
And while the provincial government claims it's speeding up the process of adjudicating complaints,
The problem isn't fixed.
Anu is paying the price, he says, without any help from his tenants. Sean O'Shea, Global News, Brampton.
See, it's a very difficult situation. You know, if you get stuck in something like this, my advice to you, make sure you file the N4 right away. Make sure you file the N5 right away for interference and not allowing you in that property. Serve everything to the board immediately with no delays. Make sure your paperwork is correct so it doesn't get thrown in the garbage. No mistakes, so you can get this tenant out within that 6 to 8 month period, not the 14-month period. And lastly, guys, do not buy single family homes and rent them out. You're taking too much risk with damages, non-payment of rent, and having to float all of those expenses. Look for landlord-friendly properties that are going to be less stressful on you. They cash flow. There's not as much of an expense on the renovations if anything gets damaged, like 1 or 2 bedroom apartment units, and have multiple of them. In case you run into a bad tenant, you have more good tenants still paying you rent while you deal with that one. I hope this video helps. Make sure you guys subscribe, and if you have any questions, shoot me an email, send me a text, or give me a call. I'll see you guys in the next video.